Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness, how about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the Smash Factor Week 5 of the 2022-2023 PGA season. The CJ Cup in South Carolina. We are back over in America after last week. Fun week last week, kind of similar this week. Get another no-cut event. Much stronger field this week than what we saw last week. But same principle, 4 rounds for everybody. CJ Cup is being held at Congaree, which we saw at Palmetto last June. Normal time, that's probably the best thing. It's definitely, especially this time of year with so much going on. Kiddos back in school, all that kind of stuff, plus football and research and all that kind of stuff. This is a busy time for me and real work, day work atmosphere. So to have that, not really, I mean, getting the content out and everything, I did all that. But I enjoy watching it as much as I can. But when it's on, like the main part of it's midnight my time, 1 o'clock my time till 3 or 4, it makes it a little bit difficult. Right now, but was able to watch a good portion of it, especially on the weekend. But how it started out, for me, it started out really strong. I think after round 1, I was in second place or something like that of the big, I don't know what it is, maybe $5, $15, whatever they're doing right now during the fall swing. Round 2, round 3 took a big dive. And then round 4 came back enough to make it just a small loss week. Some of my guys stormed back a little bit. Did not have much Keegan at all last week, so that didn't do much good. Did have plenty of guys like Fowler. Thigala was probably the closest betting-wise. He finished T5. Really wasn't ever kind of in the mix. But those guys didn't really storm on Sunday, so if he could have had a really good round, maybe – but not too much sweat betting wise that way. Did have a good start to the season there, but looking forward to bounce back this week. Try to get, I think we have 1 first round leader, 1 outright so far. I have all the betting stuff updated, this is early Tuesday morning. So by the end of tonight, it's normally what I try to target for that, all sports really, as I run a Tuesday through Monday week. So I try to get all that caught back up. Huge shout out to last night. Kong takes down several contests. I don't know if I assume he chopped the Millie. He had 4 lineups in there and won. I think he won first. He had 40,000. He won on that. And then the other stuff, he did the 20 maxes, like the $3, maybe did both $3. All together, I had $160 in for 75,000. So was up. I think he said going into that final drive or so, he was up 112,000 or so, and then in overtime, and then with the kicker, when the kicker made it, but it could have been worse the way he said it, because if it would have, anything could have happened. Several things could have happened to make it a big chop, and could have really went down. But glad to see him take that. Some other good green screens in there. Lots of fun going on in the GC Warrior Slack channel. If you want to join us now, Smash gets you 20% off any package locked in for life. You can move up in packages. You can go from weekly to monthly to annual. You can add tools, however you want to do that stays with you. That 20% off includes a 7-day risk-free trial, so you get to come check out if you're a first-time subscriber. So if you're not, it'll charge you like normal. You still get 20% off, but it only recognizes people to be allowed to do 1 free trial. But you do that right now. We got NBA starting tonight. Just 2-game slate, so that's more of a kind of a game theory. Similar, kind of like a showdown type deal. Pick your script of the games and how can you get different. Some fairly decent contests though. I saw they had a $1 million pot. I think $200K to first, $5. And the payout wasn't horrible, really. Sometimes those get top heavy, so was that 20% to first. And then I think 10th was still like 5,000. Top 25, I think you still got 1,000 or 2,000. So decent structure for that. We've seen some where I think last night or Sunday night, the $1 million to first was like 44% of the pot. So maybe not your cup of tea, but you could throw, in a 2-game slate, you don't have to max or leverage or anything. You could get it unique enough to have some fun with that. Some other contests are good. I think I saw I'll pull it up because I actually was like impressed with the big $40 single entry. It's 1,400 people, 5,000 to first, 500 to 10th, which those are the kind of contests we like a lot. So several good contests out there if you want to try out some NBA. I'm sure. I think I'm actually may fill in and do tonight's stuff because I know Dan is traveling for a work deal. And I can break down a 2-game. I don't know about the 10, 12 game slates at times. I can do them. I just have so much other stuff going on that obviously that's why, I brought Dan along. I think this is 3rd or 4th season. But if you want to check that out, plus we got all college football starting to get a little bit of the weekday stuff. We'll have another Wednesday night showdown, maybe Thursday night game for sure, Friday night slates, for Saturday slates. And I think we're a couple weeks away to where we get the action back, which is typically Tuesday and Wednesday. A lot of stuff there, NFL, all those things going on. And then we'll make the turn a year and get going for the NFL playoffs. And, of course, the big golf will start up as we march to the Masters. Rate and review us on iTunes. I'll be doing big giveaways during Thanksgiving week around that Black Friday stuff. These will get you into the free drawings. All you got to do, rate and review us on iTunes. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like the video. In the comment section, tell me who you want to fade in the 10K range. There are four guys there. All great plays this week. They're all great. So who do you want to cut out? If you're going to cut one guy out, who is it this week? Rory, Scheffler, JT, and Rahm. That'll get you into the drawing as well. So you can get 2 entries in right there for Black Friday week, Thanksgiving week, right off the bat for free. Congaree, like I mentioned, course preview. Kenny posted that late last night. If you want to go check it out in depth, then he'll have his update out tomorrow. Par 71, 3 par 5s, 4 par 3s, large fairways. Not much rough here. It's all sand pretty much and wasteland sand, things like that. Runoffs around the green, undulated, quick greens. I think we'll see some quick greens this week. Bermuda grass. It's that type of fast and firm is how they want to build. You'll hear that a lot. Obviously, it had rained a lot last June when they played it. I can't remember how much heads up they had on that, because that moved like I think it was a Canadian Open or something that went. That's why they had it at that's why they had the Palmetto Championship here. But it was in June, so this is a little bit different. Now, the hurricane kind of clipped through there, obviously, a few weeks ago, but it's been really dry in a lot of areas. We still here, some of our cities and counties are still in severe to extreme droughts. I'm not near South Carolina, but in the South in general is kind of what I'm saying. So I do think it'll be some firm and fast conditions. No rain in sight. It's going to be a little cooler. We're actually going to get our first freeze overnight tonight, which is about a month earlier than we normally see. So it's barely going to get us. It'll go to, I think, right at 31, 32 degrees, maybe 30 degrees. Some spots are going to get a hard freeze north of here. But South Carolina's going to be cooler, especially in the mornings. You're going to see some 40s out there. But sunny, dry, warm as the day goes on. No rain in sight, so should play good this week. They'll probably go off a little bit later, too, just because there's only 78 of them, kind of like they did in Japan. Of course, we just weren't realizing that because of the time difference in general. I don't know if they posted first tee times yet. A little early on that. No cut event. Winner, we saw the 11 under win when Higo won it in June. He got to 7 under, was T14. So only one tournament's been played here, just in case I didn't say that, ever, PGA wise. Leaderboard looked like Higo, Swafford, Redmond, Vegas, Hatton, Bo Van Pelt, Hadley, Armour, Lipsky, Fitzpatrick, EVR, Perez, DJ, Will Gordon, Wilco, Ches, and Tane Lee. All those guys were top 14 or better. And like I said, you went from 7 under to 11 under. So pretty tight between all those. And it was a cut event, full field. A little bit better talent, I think, overall here. So I could see the 12 to 14 under. Would it shock me if it's, 8, 9, 10 under? Not at all. In general, going to be looking at everything as, 14 under, 15 under is going to really put you, separate you this week, I think. Bogey avoidance, that kind of stuff will matter. Harris English also was here. I say him because I'll bring it up a little later. He T14'd as well with that 7 under. Stats I'm looking at: off the tee, good drives, approach, opportunities inside 18 feet, bogey avoidance, and stroke gain irons, which is a combo of approach and around the green. Bermuda putting, obviously. Course fit model, we had the 1 year here, brought in 4 or 5 other courses that similar kind of feels to look at that, obviously, because with just 4 rounds. And there was only 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 of these guys that played that year. So vast majority did not play here. On my ranking sheet, you can see those 17. I did not post the CJ Cup results because they're basically irrelevant. I think they played obviously over in Korea a few times, and during the COVID year, I think they played out in Vegas. So either way, it wasn't at this course. So the only thing I put was the Palmetto results on the ranking sheet. You can check those out. Salary ranges, and so the course fit stuff I like to look at, but I don't put a lot into it like I normally would if we had 10 years worth of history here or something like that. But I wanted something to give you an eye on. Ranges: 4 in the 10K, 6 in the 9K, 11 in the 8K, 26 in the 7K, 29 in the 6K. Similar to last week, pretty much. Sweet 16 for me, like normal. Power through this really quick. 70 something guys, and you're going to cut out a decent amount that may not even be on the radar. So, but I kept it the full Sweet 16. I have enough guys there that I like, except for I think the 6K range I mainly give 3. 9K and above, I like Fitzpatrick. Played here, last June. I'm not weighing that a ton, but guys that have seen it, and it feels like a little bit of a different layout than what most do. So a little bit of an advantage there. He's been playing good over in Euro. 9,800 feels like a good price. He's 11th in the field in Bermuda putting. We know he can putt. If his irons are on to me, I think he's going to be right there in contention. What I think comes out to, I think he's going to be really strong off the tee. He's been that way pretty much all year. So really, I think for him it comes down to the iron play. Sung Jae, I like Sung Jae this week. $200 cheaper there, $9,600. A 7th at Shriners, 29th at Zozo, 35th here at Palmetto. He did play it too. Stat wise, he's 4th for me overall. 5th in bogey avoidance, 9th in good approach, 14th in good drive, 4th in off the tee. All things I like. His worst rating is the 14th on good drive, so everything else is inside of there. Solid play. He's been playing. Not a surprise for Sung Jae, but I do like that. I am going to weigh those guys a little bit heavier that have played at least once, hopefully twice since the President's Cup. And some of these top guys haven't. Some of them have, but it's been over in Euro, so that does matter to me, which I go look at all that, do a lot of that on the deep dive stuff, and bake it into those rankings and roll it into the final. Hovland. I thought he played here back in June, but I don't guess he did. I think his game's coming around, and I don't think he's going to be too high owned this week. And I want to get some, a guy or two up here that getting some leverage on the field, high caliber. He's not going to rank out extremely well this week. A 5th last week at Zozo. He's part of that T5 crowd. Course fit model, so those ones I'm pulling in, he was 3rd. So I do like that. 12th in good drives. He's just okay on the iron play. That's kind of what we got to, worry about when you're paying for him. But in the around the green here isn't your traditional around the green. So I think maybe it was Congressional that he played that I was thinking of. But either way, he could get a little creative. We know that's his struggle in general, right? More times than not. But it's not just chips and hit it on. I mean, you can get some Texas wedge here. It's runoffs. See that, a lot in Texas. He probably sees that a decent amount, when he was at Oklahoma State, going in the Big 12 country and stuff like that. So I think that masks a little bit of one of his weaknesses. So I like him this week. I think he'll be low on 9,200. My bubble boys, quote unquote. It's Rory Rahm, and it's really going to come down to I'm going to play one and fade one more than likely. 11-1, 10-9, so not extremely priced up, but they are the two highest. I lean Roy right now. He's just been playing really, really well. Rahm did get the win as well over in Spain, so it's a coin toss right now, and I personally think ownership will be really close, and if it's remotely close, if Rory's just not massively more owned, I'm going to go Rory. I think people will say the $200 where they can, so maybe I just want it to be close to even, and I'll go Rory over Rahm, but definitely we'll update that as we get to the glorious nucleus. As one of them will probably make my nucleus for sure tomorrow, before we get to the lock. AK range, I'm gonna stick with Cam Young. Made the cut last week, didn't do much with it. He didn't. That's right, no cut last week. So 53rd last week, so it wasn't tremendous. The stats still all line up. He's top 9 or better in 5 of my 6 stats. Bogey avoidance is his worst, and that's 29th in the field. First off the tee, first in good approach, 4th in good drive. So Bermuda putting's not bad, 37th in the field overall. Course fit rank, so that same deal that I kind of did for Hovland. He was number 1, Roy's 2, Hovland's 3. So you can kind of see the profile that going for 4th in recent form, and the price to me just feels a little cheap, but I get it. But I'll go to Young, $8,600. Not going to overthink that. Spieth, $8,800. I kind of wish he had played here that one June because I'd like to see how he did here. Big wide fairways. Easier to hit. He's got that, some of the magic stuff around the greens that he'll be able to work with. Stats aren't going to be like overwhelming, but course fit, he was 17th, so that's not horrible. And the price just kind of gives you that where I was like, all right, I can get him, and I don't need him to be, contending on Sunday. If he's, top 15 and kind of flirting around that top 10 number, it could be enough. Would love for him to be top 5 going into Sunday and having a shot, but don't necessarily need it to get there. And interested to see how he's talked up this week, if much at all. I like him at that $8,800 price. Typically, when we have people like Rahm, Rory, hadn't talked about JT Scheffler, those kind, and a fairly solid 9K, your 8K tends to be the forgotten zone because to fit those guys in, if you're wanting Rahm or Rory to start with, and then you either go to JT or Fitz or Sungjae, Burns, probably be a good talked up this week. Home has been really popular. It's hard to fit a lot of the AK because just pricing wise, and so you tend to see the AK forgotten a little bit. And I like the AK, so I'll go to Spieth and then Hatton, second here. That year they played last June, came back or played Zozo. Okay, mid pack, 45th, nothing great. 4th in the course fit model that I did. So I'm not saying I'm leaning real heavy on that. Just kind of those guys seem to be popping out. 9th in Bermuda putting. And again, seen the place, liked it, played well. Definitely can see the grinder style for him working out. So 8,500, he's one that I do like this week. My bubble boy is Tom Kim. Just kind of seeing where the public goes on him. I love him, obviously. He's paid us dividends well off. Backed up the win at Shriners with the 25th at Zozo. Probably doesn't profile too tremendously great for him because he's not strong off the tee in that distance. That'll be kind of hammered home this week. But opportunities inside 18 feet, he's second. Stroke gain irons play, he's third. Bogey avoidance, 15th. Bermuda putting, second. There's enough there, and if we do believe in the firm and fast, if he can just keep it, he'll probably keep it in play as good as anybody just because he does have that accuracy and can get enough rollout where he can get, and just have his normal game. I don't mind him. I could see it as a spot to kind of go, all right, let down spot here. If he's high owned again, now the 8,900 makes me think, Tambo's old Best Buy pricing. I wonder where that puts people, but that's why he's a bubble boy. I'm just trying to see how that goes in general this week. And I don't even know. Let's see, Morikawa, I'm not high on. He's 9. Like Home is 91. I see more people going to Home over Kim. So maybe that keeps Kim in the play, but we'll see how that works out over the next 36 hours or so. 7K range, Stallings. No reason for me to come off him. He did miss a cut here in June of last year, but great end of the year. 13th at the Sanderson Farms. Made the cut, or I keep saying made the cut. Top or 40th last week, so mid pack, nothing too great, but no reason for me to go off. He does get a negative bump from me on the course fit. He was 48th in the field. But everything else is solid. 8th in stats, 5th in recent form, 13th in Bermuda putting, 7,200. Again, if he can be in flirting with top 25 finishing, top 20, like a legit top 20 finish at 7,200, I'll take that this week. SH Kim, I'll go back to him. Been on a good little run here. 13th at Sanderson, 4th at Shriners. Didn't play last week. Limited stats, but 9th off the tee, 2nd in bogey avoidance, 15th in irons, 4th in Bermuda putting. So, again, limited size, so I don't take a lot of that. Irons are his weakness so far in this limited stats. So, if you want to jump off, I don't think he'll be super popular or anything. 7,100, I'll definitely have some shares there. Cam Davis, I feel, could be popular this week. He didn't really pay off much last week. But again, I talk about anytime he's going to give me 4 guarantee rounds with him, I'm going to play him more times than not because he can outscore his finishing position a lot. He finished 29th last week, so better than half the field. 21st off the tee, 6th opportunity inside 18 feet, 11th bogey avoidance. Again, the bogey avoidance for him has really improved. I said that this third week I'm saying that now, but I think if he can get hot and score, he's one that could be there come Sunday and have a legit chance. He's 24, 37, 29, 3 tournaments out of the start in the fall swing. So I like that. I wonder how popular get that price. It feels like he's underpriced. So we'll see how that goes. But the Bubble Boy also feels a little underpriced with Mito. People tend to like him. He didn't really do much last week, 45th, but he did have a 4th at the Shriners. We saw how well he did at the President's Cup. Stat-wise, he's going to pop for a lot of people. 11th in good drives, 12th in approach, 10th in opportunities inside 18 feet, 6th in irons. The course fit model that I love those other guys for, that's his knock for me. He was 60th, so limited size for him. So we'll see how the deep dive goes out. And then wanting to see ownership-wise. These 7K is pretty solid and strong overall. A lot of options. So I feel they're all going to spread out. But I want to see, is there like a big talk up of Mito? Is it Cam Davis? I'd easily go to Mito if he's half the ownership of Davis. Not that I won't play both. You could. But that's really the only reason. And I want to deep dive on that course fit stuff to kind of see what popped there, before I write them off completely. 6K range. I like Wyndham Clark. Not in love with the 6K range overall this week. So it makes you feel a little bit more of that balance. And does make me feel like that 8K range could be dead because I think a lot of people, if they want to load up on the 7s, they really can't go to the 8s with getting the guys that went up top. A little bit up and down this fall swing. 11th, miscut, 16th. Certainly has the power off the tee. 4th in good approach. 30th in bogey avoidance. 19th in opportunities inside 18 feet. 19th in Bermuda putting. So for 6,800, enough positives there and, upside that I don't mind him at all at 6,800. He's a little bit more of the boomer bust, as we've seen. He's 2 top 20s and 2 miscuts. So, but that comes with the pricing, right? That's why he's cheaper. Davis Riley definitely feels like could be the chalk of the week. I don't get the 6,900 at all. 11th at Fortinet, 19th at Sanderson Farms. Didn't play well last week, 67th, so almost last, but I don't know if that warrants going down to the 6K range for as good as he's been playing. He's had some up and downs there, but I just feel like his ceiling and talent at 6,900 is great. Now, maybe I'll be in the minority there and we get a cheap, not so high owned Riley. And in a no-cut event, 78-man field, I mean, if he's 12, 13% or less, that's fine. We can take that. We can deal with that because you just don't have as many guys to go to, so you're not going to get much 5% guys. You can look at last week's ownership. I think most everybody was, high single and up, in the whole field. There's a few of those Japan guys that obviously were 0, so a little bit different. But we don't have that many of those this week. There are a few Korea guys that are over, but not near as much as what we had last week. So you'll see some ownership spread out a little bit, but it still will be a little tick higher than a full field event. He's 14th in opportunities, 13th in 14th in good approach, 13th in opportunities, 22nd in good drives, 27th in Bermuda putting. So all things I like, and at that price, we know I think his upside is literally to be in contention on Sunday. So when I see that ceiling for that type of play, it really makes me, and I've seen it somewhat recently, 2 top 20s, almost a top 10 in the last 3 weeks. So I don't mind going to Riley at all. I just hope he doesn't get a whole bunch of steam. And now he's talking about like a 20% own Riley at 6,900. It makes you think about some leverage there. Lee Hodges, I'll go back to him. I feel like it's a great price, $6,300. I just lost my. There we go. He's played all 4 events, so I guess you could say a little bit of where they were. He's a hungry guy. I mean, he's wanting to get as much money FedEx Cup points right now as he can. 24th at Fortinet, 30th at Sanderson Farms, missed the cut at Shriners, 23rd last week. Been playing really consistent, steady. Deep dive mark for me is to check the Bermuda putting stuff and kind of look at some of the tournaments because he's 67th in the field. That's the one negative that kind of sticks out to me. But $6,300, 10th in bogey avoidance, top 25 or top 22 in opportunities and stroke gain irons, and not horrible everywhere else. He's top 36 or better in all 6 of the major stuff I'm looking at. So for that price, that gives me a nice consistent base that a top 30 is alive there. And he's had 3 top 30s in the last 4 weeks that now I get a lot stronger feel, but the price we're getting with it makes up for that. Kind of the bubble boy just because of the putting. That would kind of be my only concern there. I missed one. So Hodges was a bubble boy because of the putting. My third in the 6K range was Smalley. I like playing him a lot, especially in a grinders type tournament like we're going to see this week. 25th last week in Zozo. He's just a guy, staple kind of guy for me that I'm normally going to play, especially in this kind of event. And the bubble boy was Hodges because of the Bermuda putting. Everything else I do like. Fade of the week for me will be Scheffler or JT. Most likely it'll be Scheffler. Has not played at all outside the President's Cup. Didn't play that well in the President's Cup. His game fits here, sure. But I got a deep dive on that to see if I'm gonna fade one for sure, and then I'm probably gonna play Rory or Rahm. And so those are kind of where at most I probably have 2 guys up there in the 10K range is kind of what I'm thinking. And right now I'm probably leaning Scheffler as my fade this week. He'll be shaking off rust, but so will JT. So I got looking at maybe I fade both those. I think everybody's going to kind of lean that way. It would be fade JT and Scheffler, play Rahm and Rory. And now are we making ourselves different anyway? So I definitely will get into that in the premium articles a little bit more. But that's where I'm at over there. Sleeper of the week, I'm going Harris English. I don't know if he's truly a sleeper. $6,500 has shown some flashes. He is not going to pop up in your general stat models, go pool, because he just had that horrible run, and especially coming off the injury stuff. But he's been playing decently. Kind of popped a little bit at the end of the season. Then 11th at Fortinet, 28th at Shriners. He did miss a cut to Sanderson Farm. But 2 made cuts, 2 top 30s, almost a top 10. He played here. I mentioned that earlier. A 14th in June. 23rd in Bermuda putting. We know when he's going, like his upside. We know what it is. I mean, he can win, literally. And so $6,500, I don't think he gets just massively talked about. There's not as much content out right now, and not people grinding it. So he could be a really good play this week that's not going to pull up in just your typical stat engine, stat models, whatever you're running. He doesn't even on mine. Like, he ranks near the bottom on my model, but that just may be an override play for me by the time we get to tomorrow night. Gut feel plays for me. Griot, $7,900. The putter, we mentioned it 2 or 3 weeks ago that it's been trending up. Still is. He's still playing well. Let's see. There he is. 4th last week, 73rd at Shriners, 5th at the Sanderson Farm, miscut at Fortinet. He's basically top 20 in every stat. Nothing pops out tremendously, but solid across the board. But Bermuda, his putting, he's 30th in the field, which for Griot is great. 9th in that course fit model that I talked about earlier. $7,900 feels like a good play. And I think like Aaron Wise is $100 cheaper, and people just love Aaron Wise. And I get it. The tee to green stuff's great. So maybe we get a little bit of a discount there. So I don't mind going there. Kitayama, $7,100. Played him last week, 29th. Don't mind going back there. 7th in good drive, 8th in good approach, 16th in opportunities. So I can go back there. Taylor Moore, another kind of fall staple guy I've been playing. 12th last week, 24th at Sanderson. 2 missed cuts at the other 2 events, but we're not worried about rust and stuff with that. With him, 19th in good drives, 13th in bogey avoidance. Really comes down to putting, I think, for him. 7K flat, but more. That's why it's a gut feel play, not up there in the Sweet 16 type stuff. And then Seamus Power, who's a guy I rarely get to. Where's he at? There we go. 7K event, 19th here last year, a 30th at Sanderson Farm. Nothing looks tremendous with him, but nothing looks just horrible. 32nd in bogey avoidance, 42nd in approach, 28th in putting. So all just average, but at 7K and probably fairly low owned, he could be just a good gut feel play that we add to the player pool. Nothing to get crazy on by any means. We'll see how the deep dive stuff turns out on someone like him. Top 5 of pop and 2 long shots provided by Prize Picks. Get the link right now. Click it. Use GUP, G-U-P, dollar for dollar match, up to $100. A lot of good stuff going on there. I'm going to be excited when PJ gets back, but I've done NASCAR stuff. Probably do look at some NBA stuff. I know there's a free square tonight on NBA because I mentioned it on the NFL pod last week. I think it's Steph over half a point. So now you can just put 2 plays with that you like tonight, or you can mix and match with whatever. You can find a college football one, an NFL one, baseball. We got playoff baseball going one. There's a lot of people, UFC. Tommy talks about them, UFC. So mix and match there. I may toss some Prize Pick plays in if I do the NBA article tonight for Dan. Use that code, dollar for dollar match up to $100. You already get a free play. I'm going to assume Steph Curry makes 1 point. And so that'll get a good start. If you put $50 in there, get a free 50. So now you got 100. Do a little three-way parlay, and make yourself a good little money, a little bankroll starter there. We only got to hit 2 because we get the free Steph Curry. Top 5 for me. Underdog is also doing a lot of good stuff. They're in that link as well. Same code, same offer. Dollar for dollar match up to $100. I'm really anticipating them announcing a best Paul type stuff for PGA, and I think they'd have it start like at the Sony and run through maybe BMW or something like that. If that happens, I think that'll be exciting. So we can use that code as well. My top 5 right now, like Young 30-1, Sungjae 25, Stallings 80, Griot 80, Mito 70. Griot and Mito are 70. 2 long shots, SH Kim 100, Kitayama 100. Don't forget, Smash 20% off anything right now. 7-day risk-free trial, so you can come check us out. Good week checks out with the NBA kicking off. Got some MLB playoffs. There's guys in the Slack that talk about that. All kinds of college football, NFL, and of course PGA. I'll have you covered on that. I do nightly showdowns. I think I've only missed 1 so far on the whole fall swing. So I try to get them every night. Even last week we didn't have any stats or anything, so a little bit more of that. And what's really hard about a week like last week, I don't mind not having the stats sometimes because I try to watch a lot of the golf, or at least the replay, and there's things I can pick up on as opposed to just looking at the data. But when it's overnight like that, plus not having the stats, it certainly makes it a little bit more of just leveraging the field and gut play type stuff. But we're back to normal this week, being over in the Eastern time zone, so looking forward to that. I'll be back later on tonight after I get done with work, cranking out some NBA stuff, be in the Slack. Looking forward to all that. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.